So apparently it's time for my annual video on why the Grammys are racist and they suck. I've done a video on this pretty much every single year since 2014. I will include links in the description box. I did one the year, I think that Macklemore won that rap Grammy over Kendrick Lamar. I did one the year that Iggy Azalea got nominated for all those Grammys. I did one the year that Adele beat Beyonce for Album of the Year. I did not do one the year that Beck beat Beyonce, but it's all the same reasons. The reasons, and obviously we all know what happened last year with Bruno Mars winning Album of the Year, and then I called him a culture vulture, and I said that we love black music from non-black artists, we love black culture, we hate black bodies. And that sort of obviously blew up and went viral because I said Bruno Mars is a culture vulture that won an Album of the Year Grammy for his best Prince impersonation when Prince never won an Album of the Year Grammy. Again, I want to reiterate, like I always do, that I do not give a fuck about Grammys. I don't give a fuck about award shows in general. I don't watch any award shows. I don't review them. I used to previously watch them and review them on this channel. I used to, really like them. But I decided that not only are award shows racist, generally sexist, white supremacist, but they're also completely arbitrary, especially with the rise of the internet. Nobody can tell me objectively, this is the best movie, this is the best TV show, this is the best actor, this is the best musician, this is the best artist. Like, there's really no way you can objectively do that with the rise of the internet. Like, so much content and media comes out. So really, at some point, award shows sort of became either this popularity contest or this marker of mainstream success. And especially when you're dealing with the Grammys, which are increasingly, again, racist and tone deaf, and also historically racist and tone deaf. What you see a lot of is, again, the rewarding repeatedly of non-black bodies sort of dabbling in black culture, and also the rewarding of, how do I put this? It's like every year, Beyonce's like a really good example, right? So like one year Beyonce lost to Beck, right? I think that was 2013, 2014. And the reason that was given behind it, Beyonce had her self-titled album, which was like hugely successful, really commercially successful, really critically successful, but Beck won. And people said, well, that's because Beck did the more artistically, the artistry of the album. His album was better. He played all these instruments and whatever. And that the Grammys are meant to reward artistry, right? And talent, and not necessarily album sales. But then a few years later, when Beyonce lost Album of the Year for Lemonade, which was undisputably sort of this artistic triumph, to Adele's more mainstream album, which just sold a lot of copies and broke a lot of records, but it was pretty much the exact same album she had made over and over. Then they kind of like flipped the reasoning, and it was like, well, Adele sold, so much, and she owned the year, and it was her year. And so again, the reasoning can seem completely arbitrary as to why certain people win. We very often see culture vultures and non-black artists that dabble in traditionally black genres being rewarded. Again, that happened with Adele, it happened with Bruno Mars, it happened with Iggy Azalea, it very famously happened with Macklemore, and we also have an out-of-touch voting bracket that also generally likes to go with people they've awarded before and also names that they recognize, right? So there's also a lot of that goes on. What I want to talk about for this year is that Cardi B got nominated for Album of the Year Grammy, which I find to be insane. And you guys know I never say insane. I never say crazy. I very deliberately do not use that word. So the fact that I'm saying insane right now lets you know how serious I am. Honestly, if they wanted to give her Best Rap Album, I'd let them have that, even though it was not the Best Rap Album of the Year. Personally, I think the best rap album of this year was KOD by J. Cole, but he's very famously anti-Grammy. He spoke repeatedly about this in 2014 Forest Hills Drive, which was the year that Iggy Azalea got nominated for like six Grammys. And I said in my video then, something that I said was, rap albums, you guys know I love rap, I love hip hop. Rap albums are very famously, very historically snubbed at the Grammys. Black art in general, despite the fact that Black American music and art sort of is the popular art, we are historically shut out of all of the genres, the big four categories: song of the year, record of the year, album of the year, unless it's like Drake, who people know, who is a biracial, you know, Canadian, unless it's stuff like that. And rap in particular is hardly ever seen as prestigious enough, as critically acclaimed enough. Even the year that Macklemore won over Kendrick Lamar, you know, Macklemore sort of swept all those rap categories, and people made such a big fuss about it that it's kind of like the Grammys have made Kendrick this, you know, awards darling ever since. But they are still very reluctant to nominate rap albums for album of the year, and they're also very reluctant to give rap albums album of the year. Only 2 rap albums have ever won the album of the year Grammy, and that is The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill and also Speaker Box The Love Below by Outkast. They very famously have, like, I think last year 444 was the first year that Jay-Z, who's like my GOAT, I think that was like the first year that he was nominated for album of the year Grammy. I think Kanye might have been nominated once or maybe twice. Wayne has never been nominated. You know, like Mos Def has never been nominated. Nas has never been nominated. You know, Queen Latifah, you know, huge. Like, rap has just historically been, like, kept out of these big genres. Again, award shows are bullshit. I'm not saying this because I care about a Grammy or because I care about an award, because I don't. I'm giving you an example of the way that these award shows utilize, again, they love Black culture, but they hate Black bodies. They love Black American music and art forms and genres, but they hate Black bodies. And the nomination of Cardi B for Album of the Year Grammy, when they historically leave rap out of this category, is just really, really, really interesting to me, because yet again, she signed to Atlantic just like Bruno. It really seems like they're grooming her to kind of go down this Bruno Mars path. She was supposed to go on this tour with Bruno, and she dropped out. And like I've repeatedly been saying, I've done like how many, two, three videos on Cardi now. And just like I said in my very first video, I said you can love Cardi's music, you can love her personality. Everybody likes her personality. I personally think she's a grating gutter snipe hood booger with an annoying as fuck personality. Just me personally. That is completely untalented. She doesn't write, she doesn't have a pen. She says repeatedly that she's only in it for the money. She doesn't care about the art form of rap or hip hop or anything like that. But everybody, you can feel how you want to feel about her. But just like I said about her music, right? But just like I said in my very first video on her, I said people are pushing her like she's the second coming of Lauryn Hill. Now, what did I just say? There have only been 2 other albums that have rap albums that have won Album of the Year Grammy, one of which was The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I said they're pushing this girl like she's the second coming of Lauryn Hill, right? Like, her album is so great, and she's so great, and she's talented. And I said in that video, Fraudier, right? I said, do we really believe that Cardi B is this talented? Now, if you genuinely believe that she's this talented, okay, fine, that's your opinion. Nobody can take that away from you. But if you, as talented as Lauryn Hill, talented enough to have an Album of the Year Grammy nomination, you know, Rihanna, who has had like several genre shifting bodies of work, I don't believe has ever been nominated for Album of the Year. I just named several other people that have never been nominated for Album of the Year, or have never even, and have definitely never won. And especially in the rap categories, which are much aligned by the racist white supremacist power structure of an awards show like the Grammys. So unless we think that Cardi B is really some Lauryn Hill motherfucking level ass rap prodigy in terms of her talent and in terms of the quality of the music and the content she's putting out, and if you believe that, crack is great. But unless that's what we're saying, then again, we have to start examining, why is she getting these types of awards and recognition and this acclaim, and what does she represent, and what is being pushed, right? Yet again, in terms of Black adjacent, sort of, you know, oh, just Black enough, people that can give us, who can give us what we want in terms of what we think of as, you know, Black culture, you know, without a truly visibly Black face, who can wrap it up for us in this really mainstream, palatable, non-Black person of color, again, Black adjacent sort of package, because a visibly Black girl would not get away with being nominated for Album of the Year Grammy for that body of work. Visibly Black girls have put out better bodies of work and have not been nominated, let alone awarded. We don't know if she's going to win, but these are some of the questions that you have to ask in terms of this woman's career and her visibility and her rise, and what does this stuff really mean. So I was talking to some people about it on Instagram, and there's some stuff I wanted to read you guys before I go. I'm obviously filming in a kitchen. Don't worry about it. I truly feel like her being nominated is a slap in the face to so many Black artists. I want Black artists to stop going to this trash ass show, which I also think, I've seen a lot of people say that something like that happened, for example, with SZA last year, that the Grammys also use Black artists that have a lot of buzz as well to get people to try to watch, but then they won't give them anything. Like SZA was nominated for like 6 awards and didn't win any of them, but people watched because they wanted to see SZA, stuff like that. White people like Cardi way too much, I'm over it. And I said, the Grammy nominations are egregious. Album of the year, cut it out. Rihanna has never been nominated for Album of the Year. Rihanna. And I know it's going to be people that say, well, Rihanna's not that talented. Her albums are not that good. There's no way you could tell me that Invasion of Privacy is better than Anti or Unapologetic or Rated R or maybe even Music of the Sun or Loud, which people loved. Like, Rihanna has had like big albums and like massive like genre shifting. Like Umbrella has been on like 50 best songs of all time type thing, and she's never been, I don't think she's ever been nominated for Album of the Year, right? It just has never happened. White people like Cardi way too much, I'm over it. The Grammy nominations are egregious. Album of the Year, cut it out. Rihanna has never been nominated for Album of the Year. Rihanna. I think Kanye has only been nominated once, and this is when we start talking about rap artists. I think Kanye has only been nominated once or twice, and Jay-Z has only been nominated once, I think, and that was for 444 last year. So we're talking about somebody that has been a GOAT, a greatest of all time, a certain caliber MC for 20 years, that just last year got nominated, has barely been nominated. But here's somebody that just got in the game, that doesn't even write, that doesn't have a pen, that doesn't give a fuck, that has repeatedly said, I'm just in it for the money, I really don't care, getting nominated the first try out for Album of the Year for a rap album, when the previous albums that have won have been Lauryn Hill and Speaker Box. It's like the bar is on the floor. And this girl's mediocrity is really being rewarded strictly because she's a non-Black artist performing in a traditionally Black genre, just like Bruno Mars. Love Black culture, hate Black bodies. And the fact that she's been nominated for this many Grammys, and especially these large awards, is really offensive. It's racism pure and simple, and her benefiting from some racist ass shit. White people love Cardi because she's a non-Black hoe, dabbling, just like Bruno, dabbling, making ratchet ghetto shit fun for them. Just like how Bruno made funk and Bobby Brown. I said in videos, you know, Bobby Brown was arrested for being obscene, lewd, vulgar, you know, just like Trinidad James saying, don't believe me, just watch, nigga, 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 became Bruno Mars, don't believe me, just watch, Uptown Funk. Cardi B does the exact same thing. Non-Black artists dabbling, right? Love Black culture, hate Black bodies. And I refuse. Like, I don't want to hear no questions about is she or isn't she at this point. She's obviously being rewarded because she is not viewed as a Black artist. She is racially ambiguous, Black adjacent. She's a non-Black person of color. She benefits from being a, you know, a spicy Latina. You know, white people love this bitch, right? Album of the Year is a lot. It's too much. That's it. Sorry. Kitchen vlog? I don't know.